But as a vendor this year, having another perspective is there's so much opportunity and growth, right? If you for one time think that you have tapped in your market share and you have maxed out your market share, you're just in the wrong market. Because there's so many different people. There's so many different faces that you can really touch. You can really touch the people and really be involved in the community, but it's just how much involvement that you want. And this right here shows you that, again, veterans thrive everywhere.
Veterans thrive everywhere. And it's really been great to actually see so many veterans here. Like we talked to so many veterans and even active duty military personnel as well. Thank you all for coming to the booth, and even those that even actually sat out and did some interviews and kind of gave their perspective on InvestFest and their military experience. Really appreciate everyone for their time and doing that and just really building on that energy and collaboration, right? And collaboration is important. And business and industry is important, investing is important, and that we're here to kind of learn about all those different things. So it's great. As far as speakers here at InvestFest this year, they have a tremendous lineup. They actually got Mr. 50 Cent coming up shortly, so this interview might have to get cut short. But who were some of the speakers you were actually looking forward to seeing here at InvestFest 2024?
A lot of the speakers, I think, I'm really excited to see all of them, first and foremost. But I think sometimes in this environment here, we're getting caught up into the big names. But I tell you one thing, some of the greatest jewels that I received and really information I received were some of the speakers that aren't so well known. And I got some of the most amazing information, and I want to always pass it along to you guys. So I'm really excited where we can, again, host one of our episodes and also provide the information that we actually gather to distribute. At the end of the day, we're all about sharing information, but one of the people that really impacted me was David Shands. He was a really impactful speaker, but not only David Shands, Ian Dunlap, the master investor. I think a lot of times we overcomplicate finance, and he was one of the people to break it down in a more minute standpoint where it could be digestible, because a lot of times we watch these huge shows and huge platforms, CNBC, and it's a little overcomplicated. But sometimes when you're able to get that information at a level that you can understand it, you can go farther by yourself, but further together.
Better together, always better together. Again, like we said, collaboration is key. And I really liked your point on talking about some of the speakers that may not be as well known, right? A lot of times we're talking about and focusing on, the big ticket items and the high level conversations here at InvestFest, right? Shout out 19 Keys, no pun intended there. That was an amazing session he had, but because they have 3 stages here, right? You have the main big stage, the EYL stage with about 20,000 people. They have a smaller room, and then they actually have a stage here in the vendor marketplace where I just was actually looking at a business conversation before we sat out here today. So you really never know where this information is going to come from. You always need to make sure that you're actually engaging and really looking at the schedule and doing your research on these presenters, right? Doing your research on these topics and really kind of understanding, hey, I need to learn a little bit more about AI. I'm interested in government contracts and, different ways to kind of help and grow and support my business. So while some of those conversations with the more famous people are very important and entertaining, you want to look at those real ingrained business conversations as well. So I wanted to add that before I let you chime in here, but I also wanted you to talk a little bit more about, how important it is for veterans and, everyone when they're networking to really do their research, right? One of the things I found out here today or just one of the things I found out here over the weekend is that there's a lot of people involved in a business, right? And you really never always kind of understand it. So like, for example, with Earn Your Leisure, of course, we all know Troy, we all know Rashad, right? And then, even some of us now, we know Mike, right? Because he is actually producing his own content now, right? But there's owners of Earn Your Leisure that work behind the scenes, right? And they're actually part of that as well. And some of those individuals could actually be walking around the vendor marketplace and you don't even know who they are, right? So you're so caught up on trying to get Troy's attention, get Rashad's attention, right? But hey, what about the other business owners that are just as impactful in doing everything here at InvestFest? You don't even know who those individuals are. So, talk to us a little bit about how important that is to really do the research and outreach to those behind the scenes business owners.
First off, great segue. But I really, truly do want to tell you guys that doing your research is very important. Know your audience, okay? As a business, you know your demographic, but now as a business-to-business collaborative relationship, you should also know your audience as well, right? All components of a business is not only one or two people. A team is what thrives a business. Nothing runs singular, okay? When you run something singular, I can guarantee you it will fizzle out. But the collaborative efforts and understanding these people around that are playing parts that you may not think is important, but it's probably one of the most important parts of the business that you will never understand. And why? Because those are some of the foundational pieces. Support is more or less needed. Some of the most important people are close to them, but do roles that you may not think is impactful. Having a driver is one of the most important roles ever because he hears conversations and has access to communication on a deeper level than anybody around him probably. So know who you're dealing with. Don't only focus on the fame and the glitz and glamour. It's cool, but your access point is not always from top to bottom. It could be bottom from the top. And I promise you'll go far if you focus on the research, focus on the people, and also give an opportunity to get the energy from them. That same positive energy and thriving and anxious energy that is gonna put you in a position in the room to speak to those high level people. Have that same energy with the driver. Have that same energy with the janitor. Have that same energy with the people that support the business. Because the team runs the business, not one person.
The team runs the business, and that's for sure. It's just not one person. There's no I in team, right? The cliche there's no I in team. So definitely want to make sure that you're kind of understanding everything that's going on. And, right now I actually want to take a shout out and say how much I appreciate our team, right? And the team that we're actually able to put together here for InvestFest, right? Because even with us just having a small 20 by 20 booth, so many things went into this, right? So much logistics. This backdrop here just didn't pop out of thin air, right? Things had to happen, things had to be ordered, things had to be shipped here. You had to work with different vendors and things of that nature. And of course you had to have a wonderful team to display things here and kind of talk to the people. We can't do that by ourselves, right? And even the fact that we're recording here, right? We have to have audio visual people, right, to help us here. So I like to shout out everyone, and I like to give you the opportunity to kind of name and do that as well. But just kind of understanding everything that goes into production of an event and the thought, right? It's, it starts as an idea, you start the planning process, and then you have to execute.